them propose something to us. And if we want to get this done, we need to be diligent. As soon as we get the economic development strategy accomplished, we need to be moving forward with providing to them what we're looking for as far as performance. But in the meantime, you know, this is where we are. We're here to consider this for entering into an agreement with folks we've been entering into agreements with for 22 years. Is that what you said? So, anyone else have anything to say or questions? Because if not, I'd entertain a motion to authorize the mayor to renew the agreement with Southwest Johnson County Economic Development Corporation.
Chris, you never brought the comments back to the floor. You never brought it back to comment.
Actually, we did.
You let them answer after he spoke. You never brought it back.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody else getting up, Debbie.
Because
I'm sorry.
they were talking the whole time. And then you went to the dais. There were more comments back here.
Gentlemen, if you want to make a little hole so I can see whether or not there's anybody that would like to come and speak about new business item number 3.
Thank you very much for allowing the comments to continue. Debbie Hickman, 848 South Sumac here in Gardner. Seems like we have the same discussion every year about EDC, and we never really get anywhere with it. Maybe I don't understand all the ins and the outs of it, and I understand that there is confidentiality involved, but are we hiding behind this confidentiality, not even to be able to get some help with what we need to do differently? I'm having a problem with all the friendly fuzzy words, partnership and partners. We're paying $35,000 for a service. Yes, we want to work with these people, we want to help, but we're paying $35,000 for a service. And that's the way I see it. So yes, partnership, we work together, but I still think that the EDC is providing a service we're paying for. So basically, I kind of think they work for us in that sense. And I would honestly like to be able to see what we're getting for our money that we pay out every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deb. Is there anyone else?
Thank you, Mayor. Clint Barney, 136 North Cedar Street. I just want to reiterate what everybody else has said, but I understand they've mentioned Quick Trip, they've mentioned Coleman, which are really big companies, but I know Chris from Uproot, sorry, my country's coming, Steve from Groundhouse. If those are the businesses that we want to keep coming to Gardner, we have to include those too. And with the performance contract, I guess if that's not what you guys were getting at, Steve and Christy, I want to know, but excuse me. That doesn't work in any other kind of business. So I just thought that needed to be said. Thank you.
Thanks, Clint. Anyone else? Any other additional questions for Tom or Chip?
My question, it's just a statement. If performance standards are unenforceable, then why have it as a section of the contract? I mean, if that's the way that we're going to go, where there's not any means by which we can enforce performance standards, then, you know, why even have it in the contract? All it does is muddy the waters. I mean, and you know, I'm more of the thinking, you know, of Debbie Hickman on this one. We are paying, to a certain extent, to outsource outsource some of our economic development work, because we don't have a lot of internal capacity to do it. So, you know, why wouldn't we consider it, it's a partnership, but it's also service?
I guess, my question is more, I guess, for Cheryl, or I don't know who on staff. In your opinion, could we utilize this $35,000 better somewhere else to get a better service?
I think that we're gonna have to really look at the priorities that we have as part of that economic development strategy plan. And part of what we're looking for from council when we bring that back is what the priorities are and what the emphasis should be. That's probably a question that's gonna be better asked after we answer it, after we look at that. You know, that plan talked about business retention, business recruitment, business development. There are some things that we don't do as an entity, as a city. That's not what cities typically do. So we have to figure out how we would get those pieces done.
So when you say get those people done, are
Business
the
recruitment.
EDC doing that for us today?
The business
Are they
recruitment.
supporting, I mean, so when you say that we'd have to figure out how to get them done, is that need being fulfilled today by the EDC?
That would be a piece that we would look at as part of our plan to have them do, to do business recruitment and retention for us, along with the chamber. Because we wouldn't send staff out to recruit new businesses. Once they're in, once site selectors are here, our goal would be to get them through our land development process easy and efficiently, so they're not wasting time. So we want to streamline our process so that once the business is here, we get them through our process quickly.
But are they, I guess, I'm gonna ask Christine's question again.
Mhm.
Are they currently doing that for us?
Are they currently doing the business recruitment? We
Correct.
haven't really, I mean, we have businesses here, Quick Trip, that, you know, Tom and his groups worked with. Some of those folks make their initial contact with the EDC because we have our partnership there. Do they actively go out and look for businesses? I don't know that we've actually said what we want them to target. So we haven't asked them to specifically look for a type of business for us.
So what you're saying almost is that we're almost at fault for that because we haven't given them the correct information for them to be able to.
Well, the first time we've had an economic development strategy plan is the one staff brought to you back in September with comprehensive tasks of things that we would be doing. So we really haven't, the city hasn't had an economic development strategy plan until we brought you one that you approved for us in September. And that economic development advisory group that we selected, we talked with them about prioritizing the task, and we're meeting again with them to talk with them about what our overall economic development policy should be, and we'll be bringing that back to you to ask you to approve that.
And I believe they're gonna meet in the first half of February.
We're gonna have them meet in February.
And at that point, we could well be bringing it back prioritized by the second meeting in February.
Depending on what they, what that work looks like, what that work looks like in the meeting.
A recommendation from them, what they wanna see, and then we can put our own touches on it.
It's really hard to develop the partnership without some of those pieces in place, because you really have to have a strategy of what they're trying to go after. Should they go after retail? Do they go after warehouse? Is it business park? Are they looking for things for downtown? Are they looking for things on the other side of the interstate? That's part of that process of developing a strategy plan and talking about the incentives that the city's willing to provide to be able to attract those businesses. The cities who have success with economic development have an economic development strategy plan. They have a business and economic development director or an economic development director, which you authorize for us, you approve the plan, and so the next phases would be for us to develop priorities and the overall strategy. You'll recall when we brought you the abatement policy back in November, I believe it was November, we indicated that we were going to come back to you with a more comprehensive plan, because we weren't able to do that absent an economic development strategy plan. we're working on that as well. So we anticipate bringing you back, a more comprehensive plan that we'll be asking you to approve. So I think we're on track to have some pieces in place. We don't have them yet.
And you feel confident that if we have those pieces in place, I mean, I think hypothetically, you probably know where internally those gaps are gonna be?
Yes.
You feel confident spending the money with the EDC is going to be able to help us fulfill some of those gaps?
Right, and one of the things we talked about, and I had this conversation with their board chair as well as with their president, we talked about the timing of this contract. But we have a contract that got a January date. Ideally, I would have liked to have had an economic development strategy 2 years ago when I got here. We didn't have it, so we put one together. So we're kind of at a point where we're trying to develop a contract when we are trying to develop priorities and develop a policy. So that partnership, in order to be able to maintain that partnership, we almost, we need this contract, and then we come back and further define it, and we have to talk about what we think their role is after we get those pieces in place. And it may be, that they're able to do the things we ask. It may not be, because we're trying to leverage a partnership with New Century, with the airport, as well as with another jurisdiction. So it becomes a piece that we have to negotiate.
And one other thing, when you talk about the other jurisdiction and also New Century, what they do when they attract a new business to New Century or to Edgerton, does have an impact in Gardner. And if people relocate out to this area, even if they live in Edgerton, they're going to shop for their groceries in Gardner. They're going to shop at Walmart. They're going to get their kids' shots and teeth cleaned at Gardner Professionals businesses. And the same thing applies with the Air Center. The impact from those other jurisdictions impacts Gardner. And when you have things like some of the companies that are moving in over at the logistics park, Kansas City, or if you have a Unilever that's expanding their plan to $150 million expansion, adding 150 employees, roughly. And those are people that they need places to eat, they need places to live, and Gardner's going to reap rewards because of that. So it's not, yes, we want more new development coming to Gardner, and we want to retain the businesses that we have, but we also, if we lose out to a project that goes to Edgerton or New Century, it still benefits Gardner in the long run.
I get it. I totally get it, and I also totally get the value of regional partnerships. No problem with that whatsoever. I'd like to know why we lose out to Edgerton or New Century. I want to know why or where the systemic weak points are in our economic development infrastructure are. Our permitting, our codes enforcement, those things, they may seem trivial, but they, in a lot of ways, dictate whether or not, a property owner wants to get annexed into Gardner. And that's a significant issue. Part of my concern is that, we need to move forward with an annexation strategy. Annexation strategy is going to be tied directly to economic development. And we need to know that where we are lacking. I will tell you right now, I don't know if I necessarily feel comfortable going out to large property owners or large developers or large real estate agents, with big tracts of land and selling them on Gardner right now, because I don't know if we can deliver what we say we're going to give them. And maybe that's something that shouldn't be said in public forum. I don't know, but it just concerns me that there's been projects out there, but we're not seeing a lot of them coming to Gardner. I'd like to know why. That's all. And I'll probably approve the contract because we don't have that stuff, we can't insource that right now. We're kinda stuck, but I don't like being stuck. I'd like to know a year from now that we've got a solution to this.
Again, part of the reason that we're hiring an economic and business
Mhm.
business director, economic development and business director, and part of the reason we're doing
I know.
a lot of codes.
I know.
You know, and
And I push for that.
And a lot of people were in favor of that as well.
Mhm.
So, unless somebody else has another statement or a comment they want to make, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, yeah,
Yes.
just before you go there, there is just one other typo that Laura caught. The end of paragraph 1A, I think we want to change that by January 31, 2015, rather than 14.
Okay. Jeannie, do you have that one too?
Yes.
So we're amending it in three spots.
Section 1A, Section 3, and Section 4.
And so there are no, we're not going to wait on changes to paragraph 2, right?
No. I don't believe so, no. But,
Depending on the action.
yeah, I mean, unless somebody wants to make the motion and suggest changes to it, otherwise I would entertain the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Freeman, second Winters, that we authorize the mayor to renew the agreement with the Southwest Johnson County Economic Development Corporation for economic development services for one additional year ending December 31st, 2015. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? New business item number 3 passes. New business item number 4, and we've got a couple of more after this, and honestly, I'm gonna ask if somebody can make a motion for a brief recess.
So moved.
We're not going into executive session, I just need about 5 minutes.
So 5-minute recess.
5-minute recess.
Second.
Motion, Winters, second, shows that we adjourn for a 5-minute recess. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Got it. Get your email saying it's ready? I will. I'm always. Wake up ready. We had a great. So they've got a board and I'm setting the chair, but they have so I think the I'll serve the one that's, then they have the chamber of board. What? Yeah, we have one. Yeah. Years is all right.
Certainly my wife works there, so we have complaints. No.
It says nothing. What, just hand him 35 grand for nothing?
We do that every single year.
I've been sucking down a little bit.
First grader.
Target? Really? They, I'm thinking about it right here.
Pretty big gap.
Left. The entrance is just kind of a point of contention.
We had your brother or sister.
So, there was no problem, we were able to get, I sent an email, I went around all the neighbors and stuff, got everybody on email, we had a meeting. Came up with kind of, everybody put in $130, $150. I have the numbers, I have history from Pacific Garden, water, electricity, all that. I got your card, you know, what we did, we have all that out.
Yeah, you come back here. I'm not mad, I'm just saying.
Come on back, Councilman.
They all came out, there's two sides. Yeah.
Like 103 and 104. This year they have, but it's because of higher temperature out there.
You're right, it's running out quick.
Good for us. Email with. Thank you.
Well, we had a motion and a second to take a break, but a motion and a second to resume. Motion Harrison, second Winters, that we resume the regular city council meeting. We're back in session. New business item number 4. Adopt a resolution providing for the adoption of a revision to the Personnel Policy Manual, 2010 edition, related to text amendments. Mary, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, thank you. As stated in the council action form, this is text amendments to the personnel policy. Basically, you know, we bring to you from time to time housekeeping. This is an additional housekeeping item. As stated, laid out in your CAF is the original text replacement and then the sections that are updated. None of these items change any of the policies. It's just the wording or the termination or title. For example, you might see Energy Center is now Electric Administration, Department of Public Safety, Police Department, Administrative Services, Human Resource Division. So there are some just making things more general, so as we continue to review the organization, this allows us the flexibility to do that, talking about divisions instead of specific positions, so we don't have to continue to bring these back, and it also creates charges where we go back out again. Also, on the second page of your CAF, we have been during the cleanup of the electric utility board and electric department. We waited to do that until the utility commission was established, and also your update to your governing body rules and procedures. So these will all be in agreement and compliance with each other. And then the last section is just the final cleanup from the change from the fire department. So all of these, again, are text changes, no changes to any of the policies in the manual.
If that's all that we've got for your presentation, and we've all had an opportunity to look at the information here, is there anyone in the public in attendance that would like to speak regarding new business item number 4? With no one coming forward, questions for Mary regarding new business item number 4, which actually will be resolution number 1917. If there's no questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 1917.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Shute, second Harrison, that we adopt resolution number 1917, providing for the adoption of a revision to the Personnel Policy Manual 2010 edition. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Pardon me, that is a resolution. Winters?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Shute?
Yes?
Freeman?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
1917 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. New business item number 5, consider appointments to the airport board. Back in March of 2013, we adopted the governing body rules of procedure, and we utilized them in this last round of last search for candidates for the airport board. Councilmember Shute, Council Vice President Shute, myself, and City Administrator Harrison Lee, after receiving, I want to say, 6. Yes. 6 applications received. We interviewed 3 of the candidates, and we unanimously selected among the members of the interview 2 candidates. So we brought forward to you tonight 2 members. Dave Hayden, who's been a longtime member of the airport board, and also Peter Yazbek. At this point, if there's anyone in the audience that would like to make public comment regarding new business item number 5, that would be your opportunity. Questions regarding new business item number 5? We would entertain this in 2 separate motions. Motion number 1 would be to authorize the mayor to reappoint David Hayden. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Shute, second Freeman, that the mayor reappoint David Hayden to the airport board with his term expiring in January 2018. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 would be to authorize the mayor to appoint Peter Yazbek.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Shute, second Freeman, that the mayor appoint Peter Yazbek to the airport board with his term expiring January 2018. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Peter, I see you out in the audience. Welcome to the airport board.
Thank you.
New business item number 6. Consider a resolution of support for LIHTC for Brittany Court rehabilitation. Brian, welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. The staff recommendation is to adopt a resolution supporting Yarco Development Company's application for low-income housing tax credit, the LIHTC, to rehabilitate the existing 45 one-bedroom units at Brittany Court.
The property was built in 1983 and contains 45 one-bedroom units of project-based Section 8 elderly housing. And while the properties have been well maintained, the full rehabilitation is needed to bring the properties up to modern standards and to help preserve these units as affordable housing for the foreseeable future. So the suggested motion, staff would recommend adoption of resolution 1918, supporting Yarco Development application.
Open the floor for public comments at this time, if there's anyone that has questions or comments regarding new business item number 6. There's no one coming forward. Questions for Brian regarding resolution 1918?
Brian, I got a question really quickly about the extent of the rehabilitation, from where the rehabilitation is coming from. Is this to bring these units up to city code standards or ADA compliance, or is this something that the property owner is doing of their own regard, you know, of their own accord? I'd just like to know.
Okay. Well, if I could, Matt from Yarco.
Sure.
Is here tonight, he'd be
Thank
happy
you.
to answer that.
Absolutely.
Matt, if you can just give us our name and your business address would suffice.
Sure. Matt Coates, I'm the development manager at Yarco Development Company. That's 7920 Ward Parkway, Kansas City, Missouri, 64114. So the extent of rehabilitation is essentially going to be a substantial rehab. It's taking out all existing appliances in the interior, replacing windows, replacing carpets, and then on the exterior, all exterior cladding, rooftops where needed. We'll be resurfacing the street, which is a private cul-de-sac. The purposes of this is not necessarily to bring it up to city code. It already meets city code. It's basically just to preserve it as decent, affordable housing for the next 20, 30 years.
But there are some federal codes that you're, like
Sure.
ADA, for example.
ADA has changed since it was built, so it will then be, the grandfathering in the process will be over at that point. We'll then be adding, I believe, one additional ADA unit.
Great. Thank you. I was just curious.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. You might want to sit down in the front row, maybe there'll be more questions there. Any other questions for Brian? Well, new business item number 6 is adopting a resolution number 1918. To entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion Harrison, second Freeman, that we adopt resolution 1918, supporting Yarco Development Company's application for low-income housing tax credit to rehabilitate the 45 one-bedroom units at Brittany Court. Roberts.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Shute.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Winters.
Yes.
Resolution number 1918 passes. That brings us to the end of our new business agenda. Council updates. Does staff have anything they need to update council on? Mary?
I'd like to provide just a brief update to the council, Mayor, on the police chief recruitment. We continue that recruitment. We do have additional candidates that we are screening, and we will be setting up those interviews within the next 2 weeks. So that continues, but we do have good candidates, and look forward to those additional interviews.
Okay. Thank you. Jeff?
Well, Happy New Year, and just a reminder to write 2015. You're writing the date down, Gardner Lake Association, Harold Quaintance, President dropped these by for you today. All these pictures were taken out at Gardner Lake. Calendar.
Nothing about the daddy-daughter ball? It's coming up, isn't it?
Certainly is, and big plans for it right around the corner.
Brian, anything else?
No, Mayor.
Cheryl? No. Brian? More? Okay. does, council have anything for staff?
I don't have anything at this meeting today regarding something I'm working on, but I did want to give the staff's heads up that I'm going to be talking about some code enforcement issues that have been brought to my attention by small business owners along Main Street. And I'm going to probably get those to you, Cheryl, and we can have some discussions about it. But I think that we need to maybe look at how we go about some of those conversations with small businesses. Because it is, I've got several documented instances where it has hurt their ability to do their business and directly impacted their bottom lines of their businesses. We've got to be more of a facilitator when it comes to business and not as much a adversary. And I think that kind of relationship has been somewhat telegraphed to certain entities downtown. I hate just throwing it out there and just saying, well, I'll have more information, but that's something we really do need to focus on. And it's that whole business-friendly thing. And, you know, the more we can nip that in the bud and help small businesses do business in our community, I think the better we'll be with regard to the general overall business community, as well as, you know, even larger developers, site selectors. So, you know, we've got not a lot of time to fix some of these problems, and unfortunately, without an economic development director, it makes it difficult. But we do need to talk about it.
Anyone else, Cory, Keith, Christie? I've got a couple of quick things. I'm looking for a volunteer from the governing body to help interview candidates for the Utility Advisory Commission. Okay. Councilmember Harrison. Very good. Also want to mention there are still spots available for the Citizen Academy, Gardner U, which will commence on January 29th. However, the date to finish, to apply by is January 9th. So please, if you're already coming, get a neighbor to come. If you don't, if all your neighbors are coming, pull somebody from across town. We'd like to have all the seats for Gardner U filled. And we're very hopeful that it's going to be very informative for everyone that takes part. The other piece is, you might want to mark on your calendars for the 22nd. It is the 22nd for the Citizens Forum on the 2016 budget. So there's going to be an opportunity for give or take. We're going to present some information, and we're going to try and get some information from the people that attend. But that is on the 22nd, and that will start at 6 p.m. And that was all that I had. Jeff stole my comment about the nice calendars from our friends at Gardner Lake. That's okay. Anyone else have anything? Because if not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion Harrison, second that we adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we are adjourned.
Maybe I'll tell you a story from my kid's sister. She traveled worldwide.
I won't brings me close. We got a little collection built up from all over the place. You guys have a good place to back them up. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I like to do it.
right? He's on top of that right there.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it out right now than my son be sitting
There's
there.
not a whole thing about the Premier League except the fact that you do this, and it's kinda cool. I didn't know, see, I don't, that's how little I know. Is it all English? Yeah, I didn't know that. That's still beyond. Kansas One kids don't grow up soccer fans, it's not in our blood.
Sure.